Today, I will learn to give as I receive. Of course, this gets into another wonderful, beautiful concept, as we have discussed this before, but we're taking it into a sense of actually applying it. Hopefully, you can actually take it in that way where you recognize that what it is that you are giving as you are receiving it. So, of course, this can and does apply in many different fashions. So, regardless of whatever way you see it and understand it, and how you understand what this is, say the miracle or even life, as far as you understand that, how far do you take it? How far do you understand it? It doesn't matter, it applies, okay? So everything is a step, and so it doesn't matter how much you understand it or if you understand it right. Don't stress about that so much. Just the fact that you are going to understand the way in which you need to right now. So that's where we are, wherever you are, that's where we are. Okay, so even though I talk about all these pretty existential kind of concepts and ideas that you might not completely grasp, it really doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't matter. In the sense of what it is as a concept, as an idea, is something that is shared. So it, unlike form, when we share an object, if I give you an object, then I will be out of this object. I will no longer have this object. And then the concept of what the object is will be lost unto me, right? But it will be gained to you. The difference with the concept of an idea, the idea, I'm mixing up my words a little bit, as concept is sharing the concept, allowing yourself to actually be able to receive that type of information. You get to join in it. Now we both have it, instead of I lost it. You can't lose a thought. I mean, you can, especially those trains, right? Those trains of thoughts. That's happening to me right now. But you can't actually lose a thought simply because someone else has it now as well. So as you're accepting this idea of being a miracle worker, as an example, also whoever is sharing this idea with you, like myself, can keep it. So it is, in that way, you're also both gaining, and we're both kind of consciously evolving as we share these ideas, and healing and letting go, and pretty much in any sort of way we see acceptable with this. So the thing about what this is getting into is more so about the giving and receiving having nothing to do with bodies at all, that you've never had anything to do with bodies. And so we actually want to start recognizing that everything said is not even coming out of a body. Everything done is not even done by a body. So take it into that dreamer perspective, that again, recognizing it doesn't matter if you're hugging somebody in a dream, right? It's a thought of hugging someone in a dream. It's not actually hugging anyone in a dream. Like, you're not actually hugging anyone. It's just thought. You're only having thoughts, and they only exist as a thought. And your body that you think you're hugging with is only a thought. And so we actually want to look at the world in this fashion, that you are thoughts. Everything is thoughts. Okay? So yes, as much as likely as I kind of resisted this idea when I was first coming into A Course in Miracles from energy work, being a Reiki master, it's like, well, yes, I'm all thoughts, but I'm also energy. And yes, that's true, and that's what I get into about the spiritual universe. But it is still, nothing happens in the spiritual universe that isn't already thought. So you can think of it as in the dream, like nothing's actually physical bodies. You're not actually dealing with anything in the dream. that is all a holographic energy representation. It looks like bodies, but it's really just synapses, electrical charges in your brain, right? And it just looks like people. So that's energy. It's just energy in whatever direction it's doing. And you actually think you're seeing something that you're not. Okay, so it's the same thing with energy. However, the interpretation, I think I see something that I'm not, is the thought that interprets it and changes it, distorts it, and is into the existence, what is, say, I believe I'm a body hugging another body. So we want to recognize that that's what you're actually doing with everything that's occurring. So to give and to receive is always been about thoughts. So there's never actually been anything about it in any other form. No form whatsoever. There's never been a form. So we definitely get more into this all throughout this course, especially when we get to the I am not a body section. But as far as just simply recognizing that today I learn to give as I receive is a sense of a manifestation experience of recognizing that as soon as I make a process, make a change in my mind, I experience the change in the world, because the world is my mind, not my mind, but the dreamer's mind. So as soon as the dreamer makes a change, makes a step, a change like learning something, as soon as it grasps something, it becomes in the world. It literally becomes in the world. And most of the time, we don't even remember how it used to be because the change occurred. It's not a, I kept a report card from before, and so I remember that this change happened. No, the change occurs and the other disappears as if it never was. Just like I love referencing to the idea of Adam and Eve, and when they took about the knowledge of good and evil, even telling the story as Adam and Eve were talking about as if they were bodies already, and they weren't. The knowledge of good and evil not only changed themselves into the perspective of physicality, but also changed their past into the perspective of physicality. And so even their memories were distorted and changed. So just like as this mentions that time is an illusion, that's a part of what it's referencing. Not only the future, but all of your past gets changed along with the changes that occur in your mind. That it's an instant manifestation experience. So it's easy when you say, oh, okay, Adam and Eve were actually in a spiritual universe, and they were souls, energetic representations, kind of frequencies, and they had this experience, and the knowledge was another thought in which exploration of separation, and then they took about this knowledge, it entered into, say, their frequency, and then their perspective became this sense of physical, and then the same energetic holy spiritual universe now became physical to them. And then when they look back, oh yeah, that tree was physical, that fruit was physical, I was physical even as I am physical today. And it was the knowledge that says, you will even die. You take this fruit, you would die. And that's because you would believe that you are physical, even though you won't. You won't die, but you will believe that you would die. And that's the whole point, is that you believe now that you're physical, and yet you're not physical. You never have been physical. It's only the knowledge, the interpretation of an intelligence that allows you to believe or perceive physicality. It makes it seem as if it's happening. So that's why we actually want to recognize that this conscious evolution, if you're really awakening and you really find enlightenment, you want to actually start to recognize that and actually experience, got to point that out, not just a conceptual idea, that we are not physical bodies, and you actually can see not just white light around bodies, but that what is physical, you feel, touch, taste, smell, what is spiritual. You're not actually feeling physical. You never have been. You never have. I know, it's like, whoa, okay. You say, I never have, and yet I'm doing it right now. I'm using my eyes to see you, I'm using my ears to hear you. It's like, yeah, you are using what you call ears to hear what you call me in your what we call your mind. Yes, you are using your eyes, what you call your eyes, but they are not actually eyes. To hear what you call me, which I'm not really I'm not this. This is not me. Even though I wouldn't mind it, but this is not me. So that's essentially the giving in which you want to be doing, and what you're recognizing is the awakening. That's how you're giving, by sharing it. And it's a natural thing that occurs. The sharing is your manifestation. So of course I'm talking about a pretty extreme, somewhat of a concept. Of course we just want to take baby steps in recognizing it, that when you forgive, it is manifest and in the world as it has never happened, because time is an illusion and the past will be distorted and changed. And you can't remember something that never happened, right? If you think it happened, it's not forgiven yet. It only seems to be happening when it's not forgiven. That means it's held in your mind. Okay? It's pretty intense. So, as of course, we want to remember that it's okay to not completely comprehend, yet it is okay to comprehend as well. So just recognize that comprehension is what we're sharing. And that's what I can offer you, and what you can offer others and yourself, and that healing process. Forgiveness is a pretty intense thing. It's pretty amazing that this is the answer and solution to reaching that spiritual universe perspective again. That what you're doing is forgiving literally objects, shapes, and forms, not just actions, but everything. The discernment to see different shapes and sizes and colors, to feel, to hear. You're forgiving the physical perspective, the knowledge of physical perspective, good and evil. It's so been called. So that then all there is the spiritual universe.